Hi Lovies, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Roxanne Simone, your new makeup bestie. In today's video, I'll be giving you a detailed, beginner-friendly, step-by-step tutorial on how we created this filter-like effect without using a filter, because y'all need to give those filters a break. This is how you look like in real life. There is no softening or filter in this. So I'll be giving you product recommendations, but mainly I want you to focus on the technique and application because there are a lot of steps, but I promise you it's easy. So without yapping too much, let's get into the video. So the idea is to look like a filter, right? We want to look like a filter. So before we get to the final stage, there are steps that you need to follow. You have to follow to a T, because if your skin prep is not perfect, you're not going to get a perfect finish, getting a flawless base. So we want filter effect. For me, I have oily to combination skin, meaning I'm drying my face, but in my T-zones, I get really oily, like at the end of the day. So depending on your skin concerns, if you are a dry person, you'd want to use a primer that is hydrating. But major tip, if whether or not you're dry or oily or combination, you do want to add moisturizer. It doesn't matter. You still need to moisturize your skin. After moisturizing, a primer. If you are oily, you'd want to use a primer that would help to minimize the amount of oils your face releases, or minimize the appearance of oils, or help to minimize your pores. If you're on the drier side, you'd want to use a primer that's on the more hydrating side. I have combination skin, so whatever product I show you within this video, you don't have to get something similar. So we're not going to focus on brands. We're not going to focus on brands. We're just going to focus on the products and what they do. So I'm going to moisturize. I'm using the Danessa Myricks 1010 Barrier Moisture Boost just to moisturize my skin. After adding each product to your face, you do want it to sit for a bit. You want it to absorb into the skin, because if you should go in with every product right on top of each other, they're going to mix together, and that's not the goal. Each product has a purpose. So you just need to let it sit for a bit. Okay, so I'm going to use the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm. OG. Again, you don't have to use the same products that I do, but I'm showing you what I use to get a flawless face. So this is what the blurring balm looks like. This is the universal shade. What I do, you don't need to use too much. I feel like we're digging into it. We don't need to use a lot if you want to get the best use out of it. So I just apply this to my T-zone. So my forehead, right here, down the bridge of my nose, and a little on my chin, because this is where I normally get extremely oily. Another major tip I want to share with you, you are not getting a flawless finish or that filter-like finish with your makeup application because you're missing a major step. Before foundation application, you want to do color correcting. Color correcting for me, as you can see around my mouth, I do have a 5 o'clock shadow. Is it a 5 o'clock? So I do have a little bit of discoloration around my mouth, and I do have some blemishes. Skin ain't perfect. She's come a long way. I like this color correct. The color corrector that we're using today is the Kosas Skin Perfect. It's the Kosas Revealer Extra Bright Serum Powder Color Corrector. That's a lot of words. This is what it looks like. So the shade, it's in shade Alchemy. It's like a peachy shade. There are so many different ones that you can use. Elf has, NYX has. Again, you don't have to use the exact product that I'm using. You need to find something that's similar. So we're going to color correct. So what I like to do, I put it around my mouth because I want to have a balance or an even base before I should go in with my foundation. So as you can see, I have a little bit of discoloration under my eye, just like so. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm using a dense brush just to buff that in to my under eye. As you can see, that already canceled out the discoloration under my eye. Just like so. So for this step, depending on the color corrector that you use, you do want to allow it to dry down. So you're not going to go directly in with your foundation. For the one that looks crazy, but stay with me because we want a perfect base. So the next step would be foundation application. There's so many different foundation. You just need to get one that matches your skin type, matches your skin tone. We have different undertones. For me, I am a neutral olive shade, I would say. So I wouldn't use one. That's a warm tone. So we're warm, we're neutral. It's all a science behind it. But once you find out what your undertone is, it gets so much easier in finding a foundation that works for you. So we need to know what our undertone is and work on finding our shade in foundation. The e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. Darling, this is $10. You don't need to break the bank. So I'm using a combination of high-end and drugstore products just to let you know you don't need to break the bank to get a very perfect face. So in shade 53 Deep Neutral. What I like to do when applying my foundation, I don't just put it on my face. I like to squeeze it onto a palette. This is just a metal palette. I got it off Amazon. Just like so. I'll start off with that amount. And then my next step is to use a flat brush. And the reason I use a flat brush is to allow the product to spread. Can't talk. Is to allow the product to spread evenly on my skin before I blend it out. So I applied in thin layers. And because I did color correct, I don't have to put too much. So this gives a medium buildable coverage. And I just use this to spread it on my face. So I just spread this on my face, and then I'm going to go in with my foundation brush to blend it on my skin. The brush I'm using is the BK Beauty 101 foundation brush. It's an angled dense brush. Again, you don't have to use the products that I use. Find something similar. And I just use this to press it into the skin. So the idea is not to swipe or rub because you don't want to disrupt all the products that you put under. So with every stage, you just want to take your time and buff it into the skin. As you can see, this is a drugstore foundation. And you can see that skin match. It's very skin-like, and it's a satin coverage, and it's very hydrating. So if you have dry skin, this would be perfect for you. So you just want to take your time and buff it into the skin and work in small parts. This is my second YouTube video. My first video, I posted it a week ago. My goal really is to post a video a week, maybe on Wednesdays, because I started last week Wednesday. Today is Monday. Today is Memorial Day. So for me now, let's see if I can keep up with this, because nobody told me doing YouTube videos would be this hard. I filmed for maybe an hour or two. I have 50 minutes worth of clips, and I'm supposed to cut it down to 20 minutes. And then I have to re-watch it. So I have to watch it to cut it down. Don't forget the neck. And then once I cut it down to that 20 minutes and do my edits, I have to watch it again. Nobody got time. So with my foundation down, as you can see, this is flat. Flat in the sense that everything is one color. We need to add back shadow and dimension into the face. So I'm going to use this e.l.f. bronzer, this e.l.f. Camo Liquid Bronzer and Contour. Bronzers are normally on the warmer side. Contour is on the cooler side. This is in the shade Deep Rich. It's for like $8. So I'm putting you on. You do not have to use expensive stuff. So I'm just going to put a little bit here on my forehead because we want to create some dimension there. I'm going to put down some on the bridge of my nose because we want to snatch it, even though she's already snatched. And for my cheekbones, I'm going to put it a little bit higher on my cheekbone because the idea is to lift the face. And then we don't want to forget that jawline. Just like so. And again, a little bit almost in the middle of the cheekbone. I'm using an angled dense brush. I got this from Shein a very long time ago. And I've been using her. She's been doing what she needs to do. So I'm just going to go ahead, and this is like stippling or buffing this into the skin. And for my cheekbone, it's like fast tapping motions just to blend it out evenly. And you don't want to forget what you put on the jawline. Just want to push this in. I hope you're following. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask down in the comments. So for makeup, it's all about preference in how you layer your products. How I do it, you don't have to. But I feel like if you get it down to a T, it becomes second nature. For the next step, I like to go in with my blush, then concealer. Some people do the opposite. It really doesn't matter. But I feel like when I do my blush first, then concealer, it diffuses the products evenly and you get a more airbrush kind of finish. So this is the Rare Beauty Liquid Blush, and this is in the shade Joy. For I place my blush at the high points of my cheeks. So in this motion, like the outer portion of my eye, just like so. And I think we're just going to use one color today. This is like a peachy, it's a orange peachy kind of shade. Again, the shade Joy. This is a double-sided brush. Again, we got it off Shein. Work smarter, not harder. I'm going to use this side. Again, it's dense, just the same. It's a dense angled section. And what I'm going to do is just use this to buff this, just like so. Wherever you place a product, wherever all the products that I'm using, I'm blending them just on the spot that I place them and slightly diffusing them outwards. So this is my placement for my liquid blush. Just want to do the same thing for the other side. For today, I'm going to go in with 2 concealers. I like to use 2 concealers, and the reason for using it, I like to use one closer, like 2 shades lighter than my skin tone, and then one that's super light because we like a bright under eye over here. My concealing concealer that I'm going to use is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Concealer, and this is in shade 41 Tan Neutral. And what I'm going to do is apply it on the outer portion of my eye, just like so. And stop being stingy with the product. You want a full face, you need to apply it. So, this looks like some tribal shit. A little bit down the bridge of my nose. Cupid's bow, a little under my chin. And we want a snatch face. So, with all your contour and your blushes, we still want to create some dimension. I'm applying a little bit under my, what do you call it? So, under my contour. Just like so. And I'm still going to go ahead and put some right here in the inner portion of my under eye. Like so. So what I'm going to do is go in. This is the Chalotte Tilbury Airbrush Concealer. And this is in the shade 9 Tan Medium. And what I'm going to do is just apply a little bit right on top of this one. So we want coverage, but you don't have to put too much product. I think a big mistake that everyone makes and why you're getting under eye creasing is because you're not allowing the product to sit for a bit. If you allow the concealer to dry down for a bit, you're going to get more payoff, more coverage. This is a BK Beauty A506 brush. I got this brush off Amazon. I don't remember what I paid for it, but honey, Shein got brushes. And I have a lot of brushes from Shein. But you just need to find one that's angled and small enough to go into these small places. My face. And I just use like tapping motions and I buff that into the skin. Not to spread the product and mix it into everything else. We're not trying to create mud. If that's what you're doing, that's fine, honey. That's fine. But that's not what I'm doing. So we just take our time. Or go a little bit faster if you're good like that. And you just blend it out like that. And then we're going to go down the bridge of the nose. Just like so. And just to take my time and dab the product. Dab and diffuse. So we're going to use light dabbing strokes, and diffuse the product. Just like so. So we start from the end and we work our way in. Just to diffuse the product. Let it sit for a bit, it dry down. So what we're going to do is take our time and work from the outer section of the concealer. And we're just going to take our time and dab. So we want to blend on spot with this. So wherever I've placed the product, that's where I want to blend. We're not trying to spread it under the entire under eye. We just take our time. Take your time. This portion, I would advise you not to rush. Because if you rush and you don't get the end result, do not come for me. I told you to take your time. You just want to use dabbing motions. And again, because you did allow it to dry down a bit, you will get the best payoff and the best coverage. Another pro tip I would say you're missing is once we're at this step, we say, yeah, we're going to set. But no, before setting, you want to go ahead and use your foundation brush that you used. You want to go ahead and use your foundation brush. There's barely any product in there. But what we want to do is use this to, I don't want to say blend, but wherever any product meets, you want to go ahead and kind of buff them together. So we're eliminating all those harsh lines. For next step, I'm using the Laura Mercier Loose Translucent Setting Powder. You don't have to use the same products that I use, but this is oldie and goodie. It does give me that filter effect. And what I'm going to do is put some into the cover. We're using a powder puff, a triangle powder puff. Gonna dip it into the product just like so. And then what I do is I rub it on the back of my hand to evenly distribute it on the brush. For this next step, what you want to do, we have to make this face. I can't go around it. I'm making this face, you stretch the under eye. So we want to go ahead and buff out any product that might have seeped into those creases before we set it. And this, you just go straight ahead with the powder puff and press it. We're going to press it. I don't bake. If you bake, that's fine. But we don't need to bake anymore. It's 2026. And you just buff that into the under eye, just like so. And that's a set under eye. This is how you're going to minimize the creasing. So unset, set, we'll do the other eye. You'll see it when it's done. Face is now set. We look ghostly. Yes. What we're going to do now is add some color back to the face. I like to use a bronzer to add back I like to use a bronzer to add color back to my face. What I'm going to use is I'm going to use the Rare Beauty Radiate Warmth Soft Matte Bronzer. Again, the products that I use, you don't have to use it. There's so many different brands, so many different types. I'm using what I have, what I like to use. So I'm using an angled fluffy brush. This is the BK Beauty A507 brush. It's angled and it's fluffy. So it's not dense like the foundation brush. And because it's fluffy, it doesn't pick up too much product. So this way the product will go on in a more diffused fashion. So where I had my contour right here, I'm going to lightly buff this into the skin. We don't need to do too much. So we're just trying to reinforce the contour, the liquid contour that we had put down. Going to go ahead and add a little bit to the forehead because this is a 5 head. Cheek swells in Yacht Day. I feel like this was a special launch. I don't know if it's still available. I'm going to use this terracotta shade right here. This is what I'm going to use for my blush. And what I'm going to use is a tapered blush brush. Got this off Shein. Again, Shein has them brushes. And what I want to do, because it has a tapered end, I'm going to use this to just blend on the outer portion of my cheeks and then bring it around just like that. So see, I want to do the same thing. Whatever you do on one side, please do it on the other. For this look is really a flawless base to give you that filter effect. So I'm not really going to focus on the eyes because the base is the star of the show today. I'm going to use, and I want you to understand that all the products that you have, they're multi-purpose. You don't have to use eyeshadow for eyeshadow. You can eyeshadow for blush. You can, or the blush shade that I use on my cheeks as my eyeshadow today. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and use a fluffy brush just to add some to my lid. And in windshield wiper mode, I'm just going to blend that right into my lid. So you dip it, buff off the excess, add it to the lid, and then diffuse the edges. So just blend it out so there are no harsh lines. So we did the eyes, added some black eyeliner. I didn't do a wing, I just drew a line, then added the lashes. And now we're gonna melt everything together. So it's the color is back into the face and we want to melt everything together. Again, every product that I use, you don't have to use it, just get something similar. I could have used this, the Morphe Life Proof Continuous Setting Mist, but I keep using her, so I need to use all my products. I'm gonna use the One Size Powder Melt. So just use this, just like so, to melt everything together. For the lips, we're going pretty simple because this is a filter face, so I'm not trying to take anything away from either section of my face. We're going to go in with pretty, you'd say boring, but this lip combo you can use any day of the week, morning or noon or dinner. I'm gonna go and I'm using the Juvia's Place Longwear Lip Liner, and this is in the shade Cola. Ensure that your pencil is sharpened, your lips are clean and dry. In this sense, I did pat a bit of setting powder. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and line my lips. We got a line lip. Portion, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Juvia's Place. This is one of their lipsticks, and this is in shade Mademoiselle. It's a nudie pinky mauve shade, not mauve. It's a nudie shade, and I'm going to slightly dab it onto my lips. We could leave the lip like this, but I love a gloss, so we're gonna add some gloss. Don't forget to diffuse any edge of any product like my, yeah, like that. I'm using the Nika. These stuff, they're almost free. I got this in I think I got these in TJ Maxx, like a pack of 6 or 7, don't quote me, for like $5. It's a Nika K liquid it's a Nika K lip gel, and they have different flavors. They're so good, they smell good, and they're not tacky, they're not sticky. And just a little bit, and slightly dab my lips together because I'm not trying to disrupt the outer line. So if you made it to the end of the video, I hope you've learned something new. If you have any questions on anything that I showed throughout this video, don't hesitate to ask down below in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn that notification on so you know whenever I upload a video. The aim is to get monetized this year and post longer form content. So again, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.